Hey, so I am at the Sprouts grocery store right now, giving a bit of a kind of like a grocery haul, explaining more so the labels of the ingredients, and we'll start with grains, how and what you're looking for, how they actually add up, and then also dairy products, and what I'm really looking for is like packaged foods and even beverages. So let's go ahead and show you. I'm just going at like a plain bagel right here. If you look at the labels of the plain bagel, you'll see it's 300 calories for 120 grams, 1.5 fat, 61 grams of carbs with only 2 fiber, and 11 grams of protein, which is actually not bad. It does have a source of nutrients in here, but if you start to look at the Dave's protein, you'll notice here, this is 260 calories for 95 grams, so it's a little smaller here. It does have a bit more fat, but I also believe that this right here is made of unsaturated fat, which is really good, and less carbohydrates, a little bit more fiber. There is some sugar in here and it's added, and 11 grams of protein. Now, if you were to look for more so thin sliced or even organic grains, these I really love. They're lighter calories. So if you're looking for blue labels, what I always try to find at the grocery stores, so Thomas bagels here, they are 1 gram of fat, 26 grams of carbs, and 4 grams of protein for 57 grams. So, I mean, you could have 2 of these and they still add up to less of a value of 1 of these bagels. These are personally one of my favorites. I'm a huge fan of blueberry. When I'm trying to gain a little bit more weight for strong lifting competitions, this is what I prefer. But actually, I am always looking for the thin sliced. So you'll see here we have our thin sliced organic bread here, so it's a little bit different. I'm just going to flip these 2 around so you can see these are both thin sliced options, and they even have sprouted whole grains. And then let's just go ahead and put it next to one of the labels here for a regular. So you have a regular is 110 calories per slice, still 1.5 fat, not bad, 22 carbs, 5 protein, really good actually. And then this is just making it a bit more macro friendly, so you're lightening up the calories here, just like these both. It's 1 to 1.5 fat. You got 13 carbs and 3 protein here with fiber. It's a little bit more fiber in the good seeds and a little bit more fat because they have seeds. So just giving you a heads up on these options for grains. Tortillas are going to be my next one. I just want to explain a bit more. But you also have these low-carb flax seeds, so all sprouted. These ones are really cool. They're 50 calories per slice, and it's actually really low in fat, really low in carb, and still a great source of protein. So when I get closer to my competitions, or I'm really watching what I'm trying to eat, these are like the same as eating a caramel rice cake. So I like. Looking at tortillas, obviously not all tortillas are the same. If we were to look at the burrito size, these are huge. It's more than a bagel. So just giving you a heads up, they have a lot of fat in them. They do have some protein, but it's more fat and carbs than what's really needed here. There's a lot of advertisement for low carb with quinoa and flax, so just be mindful again on the fats. This is actually pretty low though. So you see it's 2 grams of fat, 15 carbs, 5 protein. This is a great tortilla. And options here, you can see high fiber, gluten-free from Mission. These are 150 calories, so just be mindful that they are a bit more hearty. You would probably want to have 1. And these street tacos are actually really good. But the cauliflower and even the 25 calories, you want to look for labels that have less calorie sources where the macros would meet. So again, this has a great source of fiber and low sugar. Again, those are the 2 others that you're looking for in addition to your macronutrients, is the fiber intake and sugar intake. That's going to differ how your carbohydrate is taken. But I also am a fan of these easy peasy 4 tortillas for 90 calories here. I mean, this makes this super small, 25 calories or less. And looking over dairy, I actually can't find it right now, so if I can't, I'm bummed, but there are fat-free options. Kraft has them, and also like low-fat options or light options that you'd see. The other version that I'm looking for that I can't find here is what Sprouts would offer is thin slice. So usually you'd come here and you try to find a thin slice, but with these slices, it would usually be about 11 grams instead, and half of the calories of what a normal serving of cheese would look like. So I'm going to hopefully find some cheese, and we'll get back to that. When it comes to fats, Parmesan cheese is actually not bad for you at all. It's pretty equivalent here, so you have 1.5 fat to 1 protein, and some of them are even like 2 to 2 or 2 to 1, so just be mindful. And then my other favorite is Feta cheese. You can even do the reduced fat of these. 50 calories a serving here, and it's really high in protein, low carb, low fat. So big fan of feta cheese. It's a great healthy alternative. And here we have it. Okay, so Blue Label. Remember I had mentioned that low fat options or sugar-free options are going to be Blue Label. So you'll see it's Laughing Cow Light here versus the regular here. And then what you're looking for in this, your macronutrients are 50 calories. You've got 3 fat and 6 protein. Where here it's 70 calories with 6 fat, 4 protein. It's the complete opposite. Your seafood options, shrimp by far is one of the leanest, and salmon and tuna are more fatty in my opinion. So if you were to look at like mahi-mahi or even tilapia scallops, you'll see here very low or even 0 grams of fat here. Same with tilapia, should be 1 to 0 here. Actually, it's 2.5, okay, with 19. So this is a little bit more fattier, in my opinion, lower grade. Cod should definitely be very, very, very low in fat here. So we're looking at 0 with, it's like 16, 18 grams of protein. So really good. These tuna steaks, they actually trimmed off the fat, and I believe they're pretty low as well. So it's 2 to 29 grams of protein. For packaged meats, ground chicken breast is actually really good. I do like both when it comes to turkey or chicken breast, but what I want you to look for here is, yes, without antibiotics is great, and also if you can, fresh, organic, farm raised, but here is 93% lean and 7% fat. So just giving you an explanation on the macros here, look at how high the fats are. So you have 8 fat with 21 protein, which is fairly high, versus here it's 99% lean, and your fat intake is going to be 1.5 to 26 for 4 ounces as well. So just giving you a heads up, the 85 to 15 is definitely going to be one of your heavier options here. So just giving you a heads up on that, pretty high in fats. Can't forget pork and other fattier proteins. So sausages, bacon, yeah, they're great, but they do take up quite a bit amount of fat. This is actually really low fat here versus protein in comparison to, for example, this is 7 grams of fat and only 2 protein. So very extreme opposites here. When it comes to salad dressings, again, look for fat-free, low-calorie, sugar-free. So you can see right here, these are only 25, 30 calories versus these come up to like 45, which is still not bad. Most dressings are around 90 to 100. So this right here is only, again, 1.5 fat and 3 carbs, or even the raspberry vinaigrette, again, 0.5 gram of fat with 6 carbs. So if you're looking for a little bit more carbs or a little bit more fat, you have these options here. Okay, so for dairy products, we have fat-free 1% to whole milk, dairy-free products here. But I just want to give you a heads up that fat-free milk is actually not that bad for you. This one does not have included sugars because it is from Sprouts, so some do have included sugars, just want to give you a heads up. But it's pretty equal carbs to protein. That's really good in my opinion. Versus whole milk is probably my favorite. It is heartier, but I have, in my opinion, the most nutrient balance here for macros. It's 9 fat, 12 carbs, and 8 protein. This is really good and satiating. You can also find these in lactose-free form, organic form. I'm just showing you the basic Sprouts that we've got right here. For dairy-free options, be mindful, okay? There are some that are 30 calories and some that are 80 calories. Original and vanilla unsweetened are usually the 2 most common, I find. Cauliflower has a really great option, and they also have organic versions here. But oat milk, in my opinion, is much more high in carbohydrates than almond milk. So just know that oats do have some fat as well. So there's 6 grams of fat, 15 carbs here, and 2 protein. And even like the chocolate milk sources, it's just 150 calories. There's no point. You can make this on your own. Rippled protein is a really great high source. There's 8 grams of protein per serving with 4.5 fat. And the good caramel flaxseed is one of my all-time favorites here. It's also 8 grams of protein here. And you'll see it's only 3 grams of fat and 1 carb. It's a little less in calories. For Greek yogurts here, if you were to look at like Chobani and plain non-fat versus low-fat and whole, so if you look at the macros, it's 170 calories, 130 calories, 90 calories, so it's less here. We've got 9 grams of fat, 7 carbs, 16 protein. Really good, actually. Again, heartier. 3.5, 7, and 17. This right here is what I would opt for anybody looking for a deficit. So this is when I'm usually on prep. This is usually the strong lifting style. Same with this. Fajj is probably my all-time favorite. These are the same in calories, but if you look here, it's 5 versus 6 in carbs and 18 versus 16 in protein for the same amount. A heads up, if you were to grab a carton of eggs. Usually the macros on these are going to be 6 grams of protein with 5 grams of fat, where if you were to get a half cup of these, which is 120 milliliters, that's going to put you at about 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of fat. So this takes out the egg yolk. It's not the end of the world if you want to keep the egg yolk. I'm actually a huge fan, but I separate my fats. Let's look at packaged snacks. I'm a huge fan of Nut Thins for gluten-free options. These, you can eat quite a few, 19 crackers for 24 grams of carbs, 3 protein, 2.5 fat. So I'm a huge fan of just getting these in. You can also use grain-free for, these are cauliflower. Parmesan crisps are more fatty. So if you were to look at one of these, they are 13 grams of protein, but I'm guessing they're 13 grams of fat too. Or 11. So about, yeah, pretty close, almost a 1-to-1 ratio here, and 1 gram of carb instead. So just giving you a heads up that these would be for protein bars. These are going to be more of like your carbs. These are more fats right here. Same with Kind bars and Cliff. These are going to be a combination of carbs and fats. We start to shift over more towards the protein bars on this side. So you'll see here we've got plant-powered birthday, 1 protein. These are really good. Aloha and no carb, my favorite plant protein options here. So they even have 1 plant protein, and even Think Thin is a plant-based. But if you were to look at the fiber and even just the macro content of this, in my opinion here, you're looking at 10 grams of fiber, 14 protein, 24 carbs, and 12 fat. So it is a hearty amount here, and even the no carbs, super low in fat, and not that bad in carbs here. But if you were to get these Think Thins, there's, I think, 0 grams of fiber. So just remember, 9 grams of fat here, and we have our carbs. Let's see, what do we have for fiber? Okay, 3. I'll take 3. But in my opinion, Think Thin needs more for plant-based options. Protein shakes here, or Gain. I'm actually a huge fan of them. Just be mindful when you are taking in the calories here. They do have high carbs and high fat for their source of protein. Iconic is really, really good. There's 0 grams of sugar. It's pretty low in fat as well, 8 carbs, 20 protein. They have a ton of different flavors, and their sources are all natural. I'm a huge, huge fan. OWN is actually one of my favorites of all time. Yes, they are a little bit pricier, but they are plant-based. And look, they have a sports version. So yes, there is 7 fat, 7 carb, but it has 35 grams of protein. So this is a great meal replacement shake in my opinion. And the 20 grams of protein actually have really great macros here. So you're looking at 7 fat, 9 carbs, and 20 protein still. Okay, so just giving you a heads up that these are great plant-based options. All right, let's make an example here and track a taco. So something that I can have while I'm prep is, these are one of my favorites, is the Carb Balance Whole Wheat. They do have gluten-free versions. I buy these at Target. They have a really great source of fiber here as well. 2 grams of fat, 10 fiber with 12 carbs, no included sugars in it, and 4 grams of protein. So big fan of these. I'm just gonna take one of these out, and I actually weigh these tortillas. So just an example, these tortillas are not the same. So I actually measure it out. Instead of the grams that it has, the 28 grams, I actually measure out 1 gram and then multiply it by 28 or whatever that comes up. So one of these, you'll notice if you were to go into your grams here, you're gonna tear it out. It will show you that you have a total of, looks like 30 grams. So that one's actually gonna be a bit more, where this one would actually be less. Looks like 25. Now, this package, if you're tracking for lifestyle and you're not looking at every macro to the T for a sport, I'm happy with just grabbing a tortilla. The package itself will even itself out. I'm pretty sure packages in whole weigh about the same, and the tortillas themselves get cut out from there. So just be mindful here. We've talked about the Greek yogurt. This is my #1 favorite baking and also sour cream alternative. I'm a huge fan, I'm a Hispanic, of sour cream. I love sour cream like no other. This takes out the fats and puts in the proteins. So you're literally swapping the nutrients in Greek yogurt versus sour cream from the same animal. And then I also cooked up some ground turkey in advance. So I'm gonna measure out this in ounces. It looks like I have just a little bit left here to measure out 2 ounces, and then some veggies and salsa to make it a nice yummy taco. All right, today I'm a bit hungry here, so I'm gonna take this, and I know it's gonna add up to about 30 milliliters here, 30 grams. They're both the same. Same with ounces and fluid ounces, just a heads up, those do add up to be the same here. Now I'm gonna tear out the turkey and I'm gonna switch over and convert this to our ounces here. So this is now in ounces. I'm actually going to take out the 2 ounces here. Whoop, there we go. Perfect. Now from here, I'm actually going to heat this up a little bit. I want to heat the tacos up just a tiny bit more than chicken. So let's go in for that. And then we'll take this and save that for later. All right, tacos out. I'm gonna grab some of our spring mix and I'm just gonna finish this off. I actually wanna make a big, nice lettucey taco here and finish up this box. Okay, this is where I get to measure this out. Shifting back into grams, this doesn't need the full serving. So I'm gonna probably take about 40 grams. And just grab that last gram. Perfect. All right, so here's our sour cream on our yummy, delicious tacos here. I'm just gonna spread this out. It's kind of like ricotta cheese. And then for this, anything that is low calorie, fibers, vegetables, there's only 2 carbs in here. I wouldn't even track this. It's mostly a bonus, in my opinion. The fiber content is so high. Enjoy seasoning salt and pepper in abundance as you choose. And you can always spice these up however you like. So I'm gonna throw in some salt and pepper, call it a day, and enjoy the heck out of this taco. Okay, now this thing is massive, but it's gonna be filling, very satiating. And now I'm going to show you how you track it into the app. Opening up the app, you'll see in MyFitnessPal, this is what a daily example looks like. So my macros and daily activity are different than everyone else's. I want to make sure that no one is following this to a T, but for you, for example, you're going to go back into your day. You'll see your carbs, fat, and protein goals for the day with your calories. Try to get them close to 0. I understand lifestyle and competitors, it's a little bit different. Lifestyle, I'm looking for within 5 and competitors within 0 to 1 grams, and try to keep your calories within 50 grams or 50 calories. If you go over the 50 calories, do try to make up for it by letting me know, but if you can, stay within range as close as possible. But we're going to go here and just look at lunch an example, and I'm going to actually remove the lunch items, take these back out here as you see. So I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner already lined up to give myself the plan for the day. So when I go back to the kitchen, I don't have to think about it. The measurements are already there for me. Sometimes you can actually go in adjustment for the day. So sometimes in the morning, my berries might not add up correctly and I'll adjust that as possible. But like I said, you can make these as 1 gram and then go into the amount of 1 gram that you have. So 16 grams or 42 grams for the cereal, just like I made the Greek yogurt that same way, or the carb balanced tortilla. So instead of selecting the tortilla, you're going to select 1 gram and we'll hit the 30 because it's a heavier tortilla. And then from here, we'll go into our protein options. So we're looking at our 2 ounces of ground turkey. We've got the Fage Greek yogurt here, 40 grams. It does make me go over again 1 calorie or 1 gram in carbohydrates, and the calories go up 3. But again, I'm staying under my calorie goal and I am staying underneath my full range here. So just showing back again how to track this fully for lunch. We're going to start with the tortilla, I believe. So I have the ground turkey, and that will be the 2 ounces that I selected here. Usually a serving size is 4 ounces, so I selected it by 1 ounce and then did 2. You can also measure that out in grams or milliliters. We just explained the carb tortilla, so I'm going to bring this back here with 30 grams for that one, making it a little bit more of a hearty tortilla. And then we have our Greek yogurt. Remember, the spring mix and the salsa, salt and pepper, are all a bonus. Sodium is not the enemy here. You want to stay hydrated, keep your activity levels as high as possible, and also try to keep sodium in with that activity. Then at the end of the day, you're going to complete your diary here. I actually am not a fan when it says to complete your diary and it shows a weight goal. So I just kind of want to show you one more time here. That's not the goal. You actually want to go down to the nutrition. The nutrients and macros. It's going to show what you have left, what you have continuing. If I rounded you to the nearest 5% for the free version of the app, then I want you to know that you can always find that in the other section here. So there's a pie. You'll select on the bottom portion, and from there you'll see my goals are adjusted to my intake for nutrients, and everybody has a different goal. So if you're at 40, 35, you'll see where it tries to get you to that closest 5%, and that's where you'll find your protein range, your carb range, and your fat range and goals. I hope this helps.